You're listening to Turi Ryder's She Said What podcast. I'm Turi, along with Marci Persky. In this installment, a rugged mountain woman must defend herself using only a suitcase and a pile of clean underwear. Also, is there a Swiffer expert in the house? And how to congratulate a goat. We have a blizzard, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Well, we had bad stuff that Frankie calls grapple or scrapple or whatever. They're like little ice balls.
Oh.
Bounce off your head and hurt. You know what I'm talking about? Not
Hail is what most people call that.
No, it's not hail. Our hail up here is bigger. Our hail up here is as big as your head.
Always?
You know that I always tell the truth.
You have no variety of hail size? Hail is one size only up there?
One size only,
Okay.
head size.
All right.
Anyway, so yeah, it was really, really bad out all day yesterday. And so this morning I woke up and I started packing to go to Hawaii.
And when is the
for
trip?
April 13th.
Well, it's not like you're going to need those clothes where you are until April, so.
It's all laid out on the bed. I counted out how many of this and this and this, and then made sure everything matched. The only thing that isn't packed are my underwear because I need to wear those in the meantime.
I'm glad to hear it, yes.
Yes, my clothes for Hawaii are all packed.
I think that's kind of a self-soothing thing for some people. Like some people will review their vacation plans in detail, or they'll make sure that all the reservations are right. I don't know anybody who packs 2 months in advance to make herself feel better. I think you may be the first, but it makes sense. It does make sense.
I hope no one wants to come visit because they're going to have to sleep on all my Hawaii clothes because they're all laid out on the guest bed.
I think I was your visitor for the season.
I think you were too.
And
you can't come back till after we go to Hawaii.
Okay, I promise not to come back and bother you until you've been to Hawaii. I still have not. I washed, after my ride on the public transit, I washed all the plastic parts of my rolling luggage off with soap and water, and I have to find something I can fill up with rubbing alcohol so I can spray the entire bag because I'm afraid of it after its ride on public transit. One of the things I do when I should be doing other things is undertake esoteric cleaning projects that I would never normally do. Do you have a weird cleaning thing that, like, when you're stressed, you clean something you don't normally clean?
I eat chocolate and lay clothes out on the bed.
Okay, so I got a wet rag and I went through all the little heating ducts to clean all the dust off, all the little, the little louvered heating ducts. And then I was like, oh, yeah, this is really filthy. What about the window blinds? And about 5 hours into this project, I thought, oh, yeah, I know what I was supposed to be doing.
Oh, window blinds.
Yeah.
See, now you just made me look at the blind in this room. And I don't think it's been cleaned since 1996, maybe.
Well, if it doesn't bother you, then don't do anything about it. It's a coping mechanism. I don't think it has anything to do with whether I'm upset about how clean they are or how dirty they are. Just instead of doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I decide to do this mindless task that makes me feel like I've accomplished something, which I actually have not.
And see, I had this little contraption that I actually should have sent home with you.
A window blind cleaner?
Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't believe in those. I believe in
I
taking
have no
the
idea.
blinds. They work sort of. Let me tell you, there are certain cleaning products that are sold to American households that
like
are
me.
They're like to trick you, okay? They're to make you feel like something's really clean. And the biggest tricking thing of all time, in my opinion, is the Swiffer. Because the way that I imagine the Swiffer works, even though I have no scientific knowledge of this for a fact, the way I imagine the Swiffer works is it takes a bunch of oil and uses it to scoop up all the dirt, leaving a bunch of oil that then attracts all the rest of the dirt in the air like a magnet. So you have to go through the whole thing all over again, and nothing ever gets any cleaner at all. And now we'll probably hear from some Swiffer expert, which actually would be nice. I would like to hear from a Swiffer expert. I would like somebody to have that title. I am a Swiffer expert. And I don't understand why people are spending oodles of money when all you need to do is rip your kids' old pajamas up and get them wet with water and do the same thing. But
True.
and
This window blind cleaner, it looks like fingers.
I think
It's got
you
like,
showed it to me. But
yeah,
you want to know
and
what's
I
not
bought it because
satisfying?
it's different colors,
I
and I thought it was pretty. But I can't
You buy a window blind cleaner as room decor is what you're telling me? Like a My Little Pony window cleaner?
kind of like, or I could stick it on my head like a tiara if I ever go anywhere fancy.
I like that. There's also something very satisfying. This is a real confession that is not flattering. I take a deep satisfaction in observing the dirt that I have removed from my home. Like when I empty out the thing from the vacuum cleaner, it makes me feel good. It's like, look at all this. This was on my floor and now I am throwing it away. It's very it would probably take years of therapy to unravel why this gives me such satisfaction. And the same goes for window blinds. If you put them in the bathtub with cold water and you see how filthy the water gets, you get two feelings. You feel like you've really accomplished something, and then you think, my lungs, my lungs. I can't put my lungs in the bathtub.
You're talking about like the metal
Yeah,
blinds
yeah.
that are all bent in my house because of various animals?
You can unbend them for a while. Eventually they go kablooey.
Eventually they snap off.
Yes, eventually they go kablooey. That's right. But I've been on the spousal unit's case about the honey-do list. And this is not like him. This is like me. What's like me is to undertake like a tenth of everything and then kind of spin around in a state of complete panic going, nothing's done. His strategy is to delay, 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 and then spend 2 days screaming and cursing and get one thing done. But for some weird reason, he seems to have taken on my personality. I'm tripping over paint cans. The light fixture in the ceiling is hanging by a fingernail. It's like we've switched personalities or something. I don't
You
know
know
what
the
happened.
trailer that I showed you sitting next to the workshop? The one that's full of junk? The flatbed trailer that's been sitting there for 3 years.
It is pretty impressive. That's a collection of junk I found really monumental. Yeah.
Well, it almost got dumped.
What?
It almost got dumped this weekend.
What happened?
Almost. I don't know. I have like this vision of him building something
A tower
on
of
these
like one of these outsider art exhibits, where you pile up old dishwashers and miraculously the Smithsonian acquires it. I don't think so, but it's a concept.
Actually, there's a toilet back there. I don't know if you saw
I've
it.
seen those in art exhibits. I have.
We're gonna paint it and we're gonna plant succulents in
Oh,
it
for
this summer.
Pete's sakes. I
It's gonna be in the front yard
there
because we have so many visitors.
at the, at the recycling place where I buy stuff to fix things up, they're very proud of their two toilet planters in front, and I think this works if you're running a recycling center.
We kind of are.
Well, the guy next door claims to be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's not even go there.
Well, why don't
That
you just throw all your junk over
there's
his
stuff
fence?
next door.
Yeah, just say you don't know how it got there.
It might make him happy. Hoarderville over there. Here's another thing that I can't figure out. So we went to the feed store to buy goat chow for the kids. And next to the goat chow, for the first time ever, I noticed there's like this bag of, it looks like Cheerios. And it said goat treats.
This is at the pet store, the feed store, or at your
The feed
house?
store.
At
No, at the feed store.
Goat
It's a
treats.
bag of goat treats.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, well, we use animal crackers for treats. My goats love animal crackers. They love graham crackers. But I turned the treat bag around to read what's in it. I didn't even get that far because the very first line, it says, to reward your goats.
For
I'm
what?
like,
For what are
for
you
what?
rewarding your goats?
What am I rewarding them for? What do you reward a goat for?
Uh, uh, You'd know better than I would. I can't even imagine. I've seen the goat try to climb up your house. I've seen the goat sneak into your house or try to. What would be Good
a
behavior.
reward.
Yeah, I can't even. I'm trying to wrap my head around that.
Yeah, I've been trying to think of things that they would do that would deserve rewards. I did buy the treats.
Yeah, of course.
They're sitting on the
Of
counter.
course you did. How about if you strap the goats up to a little cart and let them carry some of that crap to the dump, and then you can reward them.
That's a very long trek.
Well, yes, but think of how much they'd appreciate the reward at the end.
It, it reminds me, we
Almost
used
like
to
a
watch
graduation diploma, 4 years, and then you get a piece of paper. It's a people treat.
we used to watch this really crazy fake TV show, and it was called Mountain Men. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
supposedly about these guys that live in the mountains. And at the very end of the first season, one of these mountain men is Eustace. It has to pay the revenuer. He owes a bunch of taxes. And so he's riding his horse slowly on the side of a highway to the big city to pay his taxes.
On what?
A horse.
No. What
Oh,
are these taxes on?
on
His
his land.
on
His
his.
land up in the Blue Ridge Mountains
I
or wherever he
see.
is.
Because you can't escape the revenuer.
And yeah, and he can't drive anything because he's a mountain man.
He can't drive
And,
anything because there's a camera crew following
and
him
exactly.
very
I looked it
slowly.
up.
Yeah.
I looked it up, and the guy is like a gazillionaire. He runs a camp where he lets people come and do all his farm work for him. They pay him like Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
They pay
Paint the
him to
fence.
go work his farm. Yeah.
As you know, I am a member of a performers union, and I know that those shows are all shot by union crew, so they can pretend to be as primitive as they want. The camera person has a catered lunch.
I'd like to invite them all to come out here.
And cater lunch?
No, just make me famous and rich.
For what? Your
But
toilet
not too.
planter?
Yep. I want them to film our toilet planter to be. They can film the goats doing what they were doing that scared the crap out of you while you were here. That
What did they
I
do?
won't describe.
Oh yeah, they made sexual overtures to me.
Well, so you think.
Yeah, I know a sexual overture when it's being made, even if a goat is making it. And it's been a
Evan
while,
thought you
but
were
I
cute.
remember what it's like to have some kind of animal be interested in you.
He thought you were cute.
I think he just thought I had a bag of those treats stashed somewhere.
They do look like Cheerios, but
Well,
I'm not going to eat them.
don't reward the goat for that behavior that I
No, I won't.
experienced. That would not be what you would want to reward. Plus, that would be its own reward, I would imagine. At least
Yes,
that's
I suppose it would
supposed to be the idea. I had a dog once. Sometimes things that are disgusting are explained in such a way that they become even more disgusting. Have you ever had this happen where something is explained to you that is disgusting, and by the time you understand why the behavior is occurring, you're even more revolted? I had a
be. On
dog
the regular.
on the regular. I had a
Yes.
dog that used to ingest what other dogs leave behind, and I would do anything to break this habit. I was desperate to break this habit, and I talked to a trainer, and she said, well, that is a very hard habit to break because it is, and I'm quoting now, self-rewarding. All we could do was teach her not to ever lick people. Sometimes you just wish you didn't know the answer to these questions.
Yeah, sometimes.
She explained it very well. I understood completely once she explained it. Okay, I gave up. I washed my hands literally and figuratively because I know when to quit. Thanks for listening to Turi Ryder's She Said What podcast. If you'd like to do us a great favor, please leave us a good review wherever you hear this podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Turi Ryder's She Said What. And you might also enjoy my book, She Said What? A Life on the Air, which you can find any place you buy your books or on Amazon.